Yep, I finally got it going with the fight breakdowns. You all know that this is an addition that I've been wanting to add to the channel, especially for UFC 228. I don't care how many pay-per-views it sells. I don't care how many people want to watch it, how many people are pumped about it. It's just a fact that this card is very stacked. I'm going to be doing a fight breakdown for quite a few fights on this card. It hasn't been broken down yet as to who's going to be on the main card and who's going to be on the prelims and early prelims, but it doesn't even matter to me. If the matchup looks good, I'm doing a fight breakdown. If the matchup looks good, if there's implications on the match, heavy implications on who wins and who loses, then I'll go ahead and do the fight breakdown for it. Right now, we're starting with Carla Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. Let's go ahead and start out with Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza, she was Invicta strawweight champion. She was a tough winner, and she's now, the number 6 strawweight in the world. Her record is 14-5. In the UFC, her record is 4-3. For me, the UFC record does matter in the women's MMA divisions, and it also matters for new men's fighters. The UFC record, when you take it out and do the UFC record, because the difference is just, in some instances, maybe we can also add in the Invicta fights, but there's a difference between pro fights outside of Invicta and pro fights in the UFC and Invicta. It's just a higher level of competition. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. We all know Carla Esparza as a wrestler. She ran through the tough division. She ran through that tough season just wrestling people, taking people down, head and arm throws, double leg, single leg, and then right into side control, and then she's just pounding your head. She's absolutely just pounding your head in. Her ground and pound is quick and fast. It's kind of like how Nate Diaz, when Nate Diaz got Conor McGregor against the fence in the first fight, and Nate Diaz was just pounding his head in, boom, 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 boom. It's like a motor. That is how Carla Esparza is to me. When she gets you down on the ground in that side position, she really, in my opinion, she could possibly get you in a crucifix, but she really doesn't go for position in terms of getting a finish. She oftentimes really goes for ground and pound, and that's just because she's a wrestler. That's just because she's a wrestler. Wrestlers go for ground and pound. Tactical BJJ artists will go for submissions and position. Anyways, another thing that I'll just say that we all know about Carla Esparza is that she's very composed under pressure. She is incredibly composed under pressure. She is the person who comes out, out of all of the women's division, out of all of the women's fighters, I think she's the one who comes out literally the most calm. If anybody else comes out calmer than her, it might be KK, or they're right on the same level of calmness, but they come out incredibly calm. You can tell that Carla Esparza gets into a certain headspace of composure and focusing on everything that she trained in her camps. So that's one thing. We've seen it before. She had some tough spots. Not that it was necessarily tough with Bec Rawlings, but she had a little tough spot in the stand-up with Bec Rawlings because Bec was tagging her. But she didn't worry about getting tagged in the head. Carla Esparza doesn't move her head, but she doesn't worry about getting tagged in the head. She just kept taking Bec down, kept taking Bec Rawlings down to the ground. Same thing with Rose. Rose tagged her in the head with I think it was like a flying roundhouse kick. And that's just from me going back to karate. I'm sure they don't call it a roundhouse, but it was a flying some sort of kick to the head, and it did land on her head. Carla Esparza didn't get nervous. She didn't shake. She just grabbed the leg and took her down. That was it. She just grabbed the leg and took her down. That was it. Also in the Claudia fight, Claudia, that last fight, which was, Carla's recent fight, very close fight, really, really close fight. Carla never said die, and she never looked like she was just out of it. The only fight that I think that she was just out of it was that JJ fight. She just looked like, whoa, this girl is fat. Like in her eyes, she was like, hold on, I'm dealing with a different species. And she was. She actually was. But when it comes to, everybody except for JJ and Rose are at the top of the heap. There's just certain people like that. To me, JJ, Rose, Jessica Andrade, and and I put KK up there too. There's just a certain skill set that they have. It's really good. It's fast. It's good. It's aggressive. It's going to be hard for Carla to beat a person like that. But a Tatiana Suarez, this skill set of wrestling, ground and pound, composure under pressure. These are skills that she will be able to use to basically get in the right headspace to say, okay, I can beat Tatiana Suarez. All right. That's just the skill set that she walks in the door with. The thing that I will say about about Carla Esparza, maybe that might need work in her fighting camp in order to beat a Tatiana Suarez is she needs to work on on finishing fights. And I hate to say it like that. I do not have ADD. I'm not one of these ADD style fight fans that just have to see a finish. It's just the truth. If it goes to decision, Tatiana is going to win because of ground control. Just the control time. I think that if Carla Esparza can work on going for the finish, not become a finisher. She doesn't have to become a finisher, but if you can start threatening submissions, cracking her hard in the head, crack her hard in the head. If you can work on doing those types of things, I actually think that it will slow Tatiana Suarez down. I really do. Another thing that needs work with Carla Esparza is, and this is just something that I think that she can fix very easily, but Carla Esparza keeps her hands down too much for my liking. I understand that she doesn't move her head very much because, Carla Esparza moves her body. She actually likes foot movement. Like she will tag you with a 5-6 hit combo, or she'll throw, Carla Esparza doesn't throw one strike. She'll throw several strikes and then she'll, go off on an angle. But when she's just standing in front of you, she doesn't necessarily move her head that much. And the problem is, it wouldn't be such a problem if she would keep her guard a little bit higher. If she kept her guard a little bit higher, then it would take some of the sting off of those punches. She takes a lot of punches to the head. And I like her fighting style. Like, I wouldn't say, don't turn into Frank. I don't think she needs to turn into like Frankie Edgar in order to beat Tatiana Suarez. I just think she needs to keep her guard high. Tatiana is not going to throw any punches. That's the thing. I mean, if you go back and look at Tatiana Suarez's fights, she probably has thrown 3 punches total in all of her fights. So it's not like she's going to be catching a whole bunch of punches to the head. But the one thing that Tatiana is it seems like she's trying to develop. She is a wrestler, and in terms of her striking game that she's trying to develop, it's the kicking game. And I think that Carla Esparza can take a punch to the head, but a kick to the head is a little bit of a different story. So I think that she needs to keep that guard high. That's the one thing she needs to work on, and it's an easy fix. And then the next thing I'll say is continue working on fighting off the angle. Continue working on fighting off of that angle. We saw usually Carla Esparza will wrestle you, period. But we saw when she fought in the tough matchup against, who was this against? Gosh, I can't even remember this girl. I don't even think she's in the UFC anymore. Oh, no, it was Jessica Penne. When she fought Jessica Penne, was it Jessica Penne? I'm not sure. You guys will know in the comment section, but she did fight one girl stand up and her hands looked so good. She was throwing combinations, 5, 6, 7 hit combinations. And then, you just started to think, whoa, wait a minute. Carla Esparza can crack a little bit. For a small fighter for the division, she really can crack. So I'll just say that I think that she needs to continue fighting off the angle. Don't try to fight straight forward. I understand that that blitz style works with certain people, but it won't work against Tatiana Suarez. I really don't believe so. If you go straight at Tatiana Suarez, she's going to maul you, basically. She's going to go down for a takedown and eat. Tatiana Suarez, even if it's ugly, she still takes you down. You could be sprawling incredibly hard, and Tatiana will still somehow take you down. It's actually a sight to be seen. It really is. It's an absolute sight to be seen. But, those are the things I think that she needs to work on in her fight camp. Just work on some of those finishing moves. Work on chaining together those finishing moves. Just threaten submissions. Threaten her with hard shots, right? When you throw your combinations, maybe 1, 2, 3 is it's like at 60%, and then let that hook be at 90%. Catch her off guard on the chin. That's what I mean when I say work on finishing. If you throw everything hard, then it's like people are just braced up the whole time, but catch her weak. Catch her, punch her in the head several times, and then start digging at the body when she's not braced up for it. So, that's all I'm going to say. I'm just saying she doesn't have to finish her, but if she can threaten the finish, then she will catch Tatiana Suarez off guard. Also, get your guard up. Get your guard up, Carla. Carla knows how to take a punch, but a kick to the head might take her out. Get your guard up high, put those hands up high, and also continue to fight off the angle. Don't do a straightforward blitz. Don't do a straightforward blitz. And then I'll just say, if Carla Esparza does beat Tatiana Suarez, I think it's going to be that way. It's going to be the boxing. It's going to be, straight boxing. I actually think so. I think if she stands in the boxing stance the whole time, fight off the angle, and also do not finish your combos with kicks. Carla Esparza, if she doesn't finish, the thing about the kicks with the kicking game is that wrestlers will catch that kick, no problem, and then that's an easy takedown. Wrestlers are really good with takedowns off of a kick. So don't finish your combinations with kicks. Just use straight boxing. That's what I mean by straight boxing, like boxing, like not kickboxing, just straight hands boxing, meaning hit her in her head and hit her in her body. Don't try to kick the leg. Don't try to chop the leg. Don't try to kick the body. Don't try to do any of that, because Tatiana will catch that kick. And if it's ugly, if it's pretty, if it's mediocre, she's taking you down and she's controlling you. Absolutely controlling you. Because we have seen Carla Esparza just be out muscled. She was out muscled by JJ. She was out muscled by Claudia. And Tatiana Suarez is no different. Her frame is also big for the weight class. It's not big necessarily, but Carla Esparza's frame is small for the weight class. Let's just put it that way. The next thing I'll say about Carla Esparza, if she does beat Tatiana Suarez, it will be because she mixed BJJ in with wrestling. That's what I mean by becoming a finisher. Getting those threatening submissions. If she can mix in the BJJ, when I say mix in, it means, so wrestlers, if you ever see a wrestler, they sometimes will take you down and then they'll stand over you almost and crouch down and punch you in the head because they like ground and pound. BJJ artists are completely different. They sink their hips down on you. They sink their hips down on you and they swivel their hips. They're not necessarily trying to brace up and get space to ground and pound you. And also most times they don't use ground and pound that much. They'll throw an elbow here and there. But I think that if Carla wins, it'll be because she braced down, because it's possible that Carla can get her own takedown. One thing about the difference between Carla Esparza's takedowns and Tatiana Suarez's takedowns is that Claudia, in my opinion, has way better timing on takedowns. When Carla Esparza takes you down, it's off of a kick or she catches you off balance and you're down to the ground. If she has to struggle with the takedown, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's all about timing with Carla Esparza. With Tatiana Suarez, it's just about getting there. It's just about getting her hands on you. If she gets her hands on a pinky, a thumb, an elbow, she's taking you down. I know it sounds strange, but I watched her take down JJ Aldrich, and JJ Aldrich was sprawling. She was sprawling incredibly hard, and she just continued, grabbed that ankle. She just kept going, and I was like, how did she get this girl down? How did she get her down? Alexa Grasso was fighting these takedowns, and she still got her down. Tatiana Suarez does not give up. If it's an ugly takedown, she's still going to get it. That's why they call her Lil Khabib. That's why I say it's Tatiana time, right? Anyways, I'll just get back to Carla Esparza. If she can mix in the BJJ with the wrestling, then I think that she'll do a lot better, because we saw in that Cynthia Calvillo fight, I know that Esparza beat Cynthia, but there were points when Carla got Cynthia Calvillo down, but Calvillo was able to use BJJ to reverse Esparza's takedowns to get back up, and it was because Esparza keeps her hips high. When you keep your hips high, it's very easy just to put your feet on the hips, push them back, push those hips back, kick off, or push them around you, flip that person over and reverse to a takedown, which is exactly what Cynthia Calvillo did. So if she can sink her hips down on top of the girl, sink your hips down, and I think that she'll do a lot better. I think that she'll have a chance to really, actually probably beat Tatiana Suarez. I hate to say it, but it's just, Tatiana is a bulldog, man. It's, when they say that you're little Khabib, that's a problem. Anyways, and then the last thing I'll say is about Carla Esparza. If she does beat Tatiana Suarez, it'll be because she fought the takedown. So sometimes we see this. We see when these seasoned wrestlers and seasoned BJJ artists, when somebody tries to take them down, they go ahead and let themselves get taken down. Example, Marion Reneau. Mari Reneau any day of the week does not care about going down to the ground because she knows that she will stitch you up in some sort of triangle. She knows that's going to happen. So she doesn't care about going to the ground, but we have seen her lose fights because of that, because getting taken down, that's points. Those are points, and Carla does not want to lose any points to Tatiana Suarez, so fight the takedown. Instead of, when somebody comes in for a takedown, sometimes you can kind of like pull guard for a sub. Sometimes they'll pull guard for a guillotine, or they'll just grab the head. Don't do any of that. Sprawl. Try to get away. Sprawl or back up to the fence, or if you're already on the fence, push her head down. Keep pushing her head down, 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 down. Do not let her get the takedown. Fight the takedown. I know Tatiana will still probably get it because she's just, ugly means nothing to her. She's still going to go in. She's going to find that point where you're off balance and she's going to get the takedown. But I'll say this, don't give up the takedown easily. Fight the takedown, push her head down, sprawl, and back up to the fence. That's the only way that Carla Esparza, in my opinion, will win this fight. Boxing, BJJ mixed in with the wrestling, and fighting the takedown. And if she works on the things that I said in her camp in terms of working on chaining together the submissions, keep your guard high. Keep your guard up. There will be nothing more embarrassing than getting KO'd by a wrestler. And then fighting off the angle. Don't blitz. And don't finish with kicks. I think she'll do quite well because Carla Esparza comes in already with so many skills. She has so many skills already. She's just a seasoned wrestler, seasoned, experienced fighter. And everybody, I think that Carla Esparza has a lot of respect from the division. Even Claudia Gadelha was like, who does she want to fight next? She wants to fight Carla Esparza next because Carla brought that heat. And a lot of people still think that Carla won that fight, but Carla brought that heat. Carla brought that heat to a lot of people in the division. She brought it to Cynthia Calvillo. She brought it to Rose Namajunas. She brought it to Claudia Gadelha. Who else? She brings the heat. She really does. So anyways, that's my thoughts on Carla Esparza. My fight breakdown just on her side. Now, I'm going to switch over to Tatiana Suarez. Here's the thing about Tatiana, okay? Tatiana Suarez is 7-0. She's 4-0 in the UFC. She's absolutely undefeated. What do we know about Tatiana Suarez? She's a wrestler. A serious wrestler. I mean, like Olympic level wrestler. Now, I know she didn't make it to the Olympics, but she was on that, that was her trajectory. And she had trained with Olympians. She had trained in the, at the Olympic level. Let's put it that way, before everything kind of went south with her, with the cancer and everything else. What else about Tatiana Suarez? She fights out of southpaw. She always, if you watch Tatiana Suarez's takedown, she's always holding that head and she's always threatening some sort of submission. And she has practiced more of a kicking game. I would call it kickboxing, but she really doesn't throw her hands very much. She keeps them up. She keeps her hands up, but she just doesn't throw hands. I don't know, the way that you think that a fighter would throw hands. She keeps her hands kind of close. She keeps them up, but she keeps them close. And if she starts throwing hands, it's just to get to the takedown. She's just trying to touch you so that she can grab you and take you down. But that's what I can say are her really good skills is the wrestling. The wrestling is absolutely impeccable. If she touches you, she's taking you down. It doesn't have to be pretty and it doesn't have to be great timing. She doesn't have to catch you off balance. It's just if she's near you, if she can feel your breath, if she can look in your eyes, She's getting there. She's getting the takedown. That's how easy it is with Tatiana Suarez. She fights out of southpaw. So I'm guessing since she fights out of southpaw, she likes the kicking game because it's easy to get to the liver. And then she threatens the head all the time. So it's glaringly obvious what Tatiana Suarez needs to work on in her camp for a fight against Carla Esparza. Okay? It is absolutely obvious of what she needs to work on. We know that she does not need to work on wrestling. She will work on wrestling, but she doesn't have to. If she does work on wrestling against Carla Esparza, the only thing I would be working on is wrestling from her back. We've never seen Tatiana Suarez wrestle off of her back. And a lot of great wrestlers, they only work on attacking, but they don't work on defending or getting out of bad positions that much. So with Tatiana Suarez, just so that she doesn't get caught up. Because Carla does bring the heat. Just so that she doesn't get caught up in the heat, get melted down by that heat, she needs to go in there and work on just starting from the bottom. Straight from the bottom, I'm going to be on the bottom and I'm going to work on getting myself back up. I do think that she can work on wrestling in terms of working from the bottom. And then I'll say Tatiana Suarez's stand-up game needs quite a bit of help. As far as as much as we've seen of Tatiana Suarez, I get it that she hasn't been in the UFC that long, and there really isn't that much tape on her. But from what we've seen, we have seen her develop. With each fight, she gets a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. But her hands haven't gotten better. Her stand-up game really hasn't gotten that much better, in my opinion. So I'll just say she needs to work on either boxing or Muay Thai. I think that since she's working on her kicking game, maybe Muay Thai would be better for her. Just work on Muay Thai so that you can get a good kicking game. Nobody's going to want to kick with you. Everybody is going to want to be ready and have their body ready for sprawling against a Tatiana Suarez. So she can easily chop people's legs. She can kill people's bodies with kicks. She can punch people in the body. She can do whatever. Because she's such a threat on the ground. If she got a good striking game up, she'd be absolutely unstoppable. Kind of like a TJ Dillashaw. I know Dillashaw's been stopped before, but still, his fighting style is just so mixed in. He really has mixed in he's created a good MMA game. That's the best way to put it. So Tatiana Suarez, I think she needs to pick. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to be a boxer or do you want to work on Muay Thai? Either way, either one she works on will help her with with her stand-up game, because her stand-up game is null and void. It's just kicks. She keeps her chin out up in the air. Her foot movement is lacking, and she throws one shot at a time. She throws one kick at a time. She throws her, kick and then one kick. And, she just throws one kick at a time, one strike at a time. It's not put together very nicely. If she works on either boxing or Muay Thai, like I said, it'll help her with tugging her chin. It'll help with foot movement, and it'll also help her just work on combinations. The best fighters in the division throw 4 and 5 strikes at a time, and maybe 3 might land, 2 might land, only 1 might land, but still you have to throw them together. You have to string your strikes together. Tatiana Suarez needs to work with a camp like, well, I was going to say Felice Herrig, but now it's, Felice and Carla are so close that wouldn't happen. But she needs to bring people in who can strike with her, who will string strikes together. Who can she work with? Gosh, I should have kind of thought about that. Since Tatiana is just such a new fighter, she needs to bring in some seasoned people. She really needs to bring in some more seasoned strikers she can't get Amanda Nunes. I don't think she can get an Amanda Nunes since she's so hurt right now. Who can she bring in? You know who she could bring in? Tatiana Suarez actually could work with a Chris Cyborg. If Chris Cyborg worked with Paige Van Zant, then I think that Chris Cyborg would be absolutely thrilled to work with a Tatiana Suarez. I know I'm talking about the GOAT right now. And, Cyborg she's the GOAT, but she is humble. She's the type of person who likes fighting, and she goes out there. She's very humble. She worked with Clarissa Shields. She's worked with Paige Van Zandt. She just seems like the type of person who wouldn't mind working with a Tatiana Suarez to help her get her hands and feet together, her stand-up game together. Go to Thailand with Chris Cyborg. I know there's no time for it now, but that needs work. Tatiana's stand-up game needs a lot of work. So that's basically what I will say about Tatiana Suarez. I know it's bread and butter things that she needs to work on, but it's just the truth. She really relies heavily on wrestling. Now, if Tatiana Suarez beats Carla Esparza, how's it going to get done? This is pretty easy. She is going to wrestle the hell out of her, maul her to the ground, and then she's going to take her back and she's going to choke her out. It's just the truth. I wish that I could think of some savvy thing that she has to do to beat Carla Esparza, but I just, Tatiana is Khabib. She is Khabib. To me, it looks a little bit better than Khabib, but it is Khabib. I don't see any surprises in Tatiana's game right now. Now, if Tatiana shook up the world, if she wanted to, really shake up the world and do something different, it would have to be in the stand-up. But I just don't think her stand-up has developed enough to tangle with a Carla Esparza. I think that once Tatiana Suarez gets hit once or twice, she's not gonna be down for it that long. I can tell you that right now. She ain't gonna be standing there that long. She's gonna go for one of them takedowns, and it might be pretty, but it might be ugly. But what I can say is it's going down. Carla will be going down. So if she beats her, it'll be straight up from wrestling. Straight up from wrestling. And the thing about the thing about Tatiana Suarez is she does not use a whole lot of ground and pound. She has managed to use her wrestling to threaten submissions the way that Carla Esparza's wrestling has not developed to that place yet. If Tatiana gets your back, she's going to threaten your back. She's going to threaten your neck the whole time until she gets the tap. If she gets your arm, she's going to threaten it the whole time until she gets the tap. She's just that type of fighter. How did she finish JJ? I can't remember how she finished JJ, but I'll tell you this. Guillotine, rear naked choke, arm bar, all of those things are in Tatiana Suarez's arsenal. And that is how I think that Tatiana Suarez wins the fight if she wins it. I am going to wait until closer to the fight to do my fight picks. Okay. If you notice, guys, in these fight breakdowns, I'm strictly going to be talking about technique and fighting style and things that they need to work on, skills that they already have, that are already well developed, and maybe how they get the job done. But when I do my fight picks, I base my fight picks on a lot of things. I base it on the open workout. I base it on the interviews, their media day. If they do media, I know some of the fighters lower on the card don't necessarily do media, but if they get a chance to do media, I listen to that media. If they get a chance to do an open workout, I listen to that, because it's more than technique that wins a fight. Your mental state walking into that octagon has a lot to do with whether you win, lose, or draw. It really does. And I use that type of, insight to do my fight picks. Fight picks and fight breakdowns will just be different. That's what I'll tell you. When I do my fight picks, it'll be a little bit more about mentality. I will talk a bit about technique and open workout and just how they look, even how they look on the scale when they weigh in. When they do official weigh in, how they look on the scale, how they look when they do their face off at the ceremonial weigh-in. All of that goes into account for me. Anyways, guys, this is the fight breakdown for Carla Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. It's gonna be a great fight. I believe that. I don't see it being an easy fight. I can tell you that. I don't see it being a quick run through from Tatiana Suarez because Carla Esparza is quite savvy. But anyways, guys, that's the breakdown. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave your own breakdowns. If there's any techniques that I forgot to mention or that I didn't mention at all, please share and let's chat it up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Thanks.